What's up everyone and welcome back to the channel. Now, who remembers dry season? Waiting for the slightest, tiniest piece of news. Remember that? This time it feels like a huge waterfall showed up out of nowhere. I'm talking about Tetsuya Nomura. These days, he's been sharing a bunch of info on Kingdom Hearts 3. It's absolutely great. Now, the first thing I'd like to go over is Toy Story's timeline in Kingdom Hearts 3. You guys read the title, you saw the word misconception. Why am I saying that? Well, let's just go over Nomura's quote from the Famitsu interview, which was pretty recent. In terms of Toy Story's timeline, it takes place after the events of the second film. It doesn't take place in a parallel world, but think of it as Kingdom Hearts 3's happenings as being part of the Toy Story timeline. Now the thing is, his quote was translated 2 times. If we go with this one, here's how I understand it. Toy Story in KH3 is not parallel, meaning it doesn't follow the plot of the film, like what Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2 had. Those worlds in those games were parallel. Toy Story 1 and Toy Story 2 already happened in the world in Kingdom Hearts 3. How the toys met each other, how they became friends, all of that already happened in the world. That's how I see this whole thing. And plus, if you read the reply again, it says, think of it as. It doesn't say it's confirmed. So it doesn't mean it's canon to the movie's universe. Since the events in KH3 will not follow the plot of the films, Nomura is simply saying, well, you know, think of the story of Kingdom Hearts as taking place after the events that already happened. To me, that doesn't mean it's canon to the movie's timeline. However, here's where I'm mistaken if we go with another translation by user Seiken. The Toy Story world will not just rip off a small part of the original story in Toy Story. Instead, it will take place in a time after the end of the second film, and all events that occur will exist on that same timeline. If that's true, that means whatever happens in Kingdom Hearts 3 is actually part of the Toy Story timeline, somewhere in between the ending of 2 and the beginning of 3. If true, I'm expecting a reference in Toy Story 4. Now, can Disney and Pixar get away with this? What I mean is, for example, Bo Peep's disappearance. Did she disappear because of the guys wearing black robes? How are they gonna explain this whole thing? I mean, Nomura said that it's canon, so I honestly don't know what to think. We went from, you know, think of it as, and then we went to, it exists in the same timeline. Now, John Lasseter, director of Toy Story 1 and Toy Story 2, confirmed back in 2015 that Bo Peep would return in Toy Story 4. So, for example, will they use Kingdom Hearts 3 to explain it? I doubt it. Now, Woody in Toy Story 3, if I remember correctly, said that there are some friends missing. Did they become heartless? Do you guys imagine Kingdom Hearts 3 actually being part of the timeline, the movie universe? And part of me is like, Lasseter should be the one to confirm this instead of Nomura. But then again, Nomura could have said that on his behalf, because Pixar has been heavily involved in the production of Toy Story in KH3. But what about the other Disney worlds in KH2? Those were parallel. Multiverse, perhaps? The worlds in KH2 were parallel to the movie universe. So a multiverse, I think, is the easiest excuse they could go with. Next, apparently Big Hero 6 was the last world chosen. On a blog on Hokanko, I think that's how you pronounce it, it's apparently stated that Big Hero 6 was the last world chosen by Square Enix. So does this mean goodbye to Zootopia and Moana? Probably not, because here's why. Let's analyze a few things. Big Hero 6 was released in 2014. It entered development in 2012. KH3 entered production in 2013. So we can say Square Enix in advance knew the plot of Big Hero 6. They can see the film before we even get a trailer, if I'm not mistaken. The movie was finally revealed at D23 California in 2015. As for Zootopia, that film was released in March 2016. It had entered production in 2013, well, if you want to be more precise, pre-production. And by the way guys, pre-production comes after development. During the development phase, that's when the script is written. So way before that, we can say Square Enix knew the idea of the film. KH3 was announced in 2013 and it's now planned on getting released in 2018. So that pretty much gave Square Enix 5 years to have the chance to implement Zootopia. Moana released in 2016, November. It entered pre-production in 2014. Remember, pre-production comes after development. So is it impossible? I'd say no. As for Frozen, oh, I'm pretty sure it is in KH3. That movie released in 2013. So there you go. Now, talking about Big Hero 6, Frozen, and all that, it seems like there'll be more modern worlds in Kingdom Hearts. And this actually brings me to another discussion. According to Nomura, there will be less Disney worlds. Okay, less Disney worlds, but that makes me think that we'll have more original Kingdom Hearts worlds, like Castle Oblivion, Radiant Garden, Traverse Town, and all that. And honestly, I prefer it this way, having less Disney worlds but with more content. And this time it feels like all worlds will not be parallel. I'm not saying all of them will be canon. All I'm trying to say is the worlds will not follow the plot of the films. So since that's the case, there's going to be more content in these worlds. They're gonna add a lot more value to them. Nomura doesn't want players to easily breeze through multiple small worlds. I mean, look at Kingdom Hearts 2, the gameplay is fantastic, but the worlds, they just felt like they were there to simply add time. Next, it was also explained that Maleficent and Pete will be doing their own thing. It seems like they will not be bothering Organization 13 or Sora. They will be on their own looking for that black box. Next, the scene with Xemnas and Ansem in front of the mansion. This whole thing about call upon the darkness, Nomura explained that that cutscene is actually longer. Here's what he explained. That brings to Sora's attention, if a Heartless and Nobody can exist at the same time, can Sora and Roxas exist at the same time too? And to do that, Xemnas is asking Sora, do you intend on utilizing the power of darkness? So that's the kind of narrative we wanted to talk about in that section of the game. So this brings us to the possibility of Roxas coming back. Is he going to come back? I'd say that chances are high. First, the opening from Dream Drop Distance pretty much foreshadows it, in my opinion. Now, not a lot of people are happy, some people are huge fans of Roxas, and some people don't find it necessary to bring him back. So if Roxas does come back, will it be considered fan service? Honestly, if he does come back, I don't mind. Now, if they bring back Xion as well, I don't know. Yes, Sora does have the power to bring back those who disappeared, those who are connected with Sora's heart, according to Ansem the Wise. But bringing back Xion would pretty much mean that no one dies in the Kingdom Hearts series. Next, here's something else which you might find interesting. When discussing the development team's approach to choosing a Disney world for the game, Nomura said they would firstly look at projected fan enjoyment. He said that if two worlds had a similar theme, for example 2 jungle worlds, or if 2 levels had similar content, the team would shortlist only one. This statement brings me to Lilo and Stitch versus Moana. Those 2 worlds are island themed. If both Lilo and Stitch and Moana were written down on paper, in the end, they're just gonna scrap one of them. So if Moana doesn't have the chance of appearing in KH3, could this be a hint towards Lilo and Stitch? I'm probably overthinking this, but who knows. Also, Nomura confirmed that a bunch of members, especially Organization 13, while ex-members, their problems and past will be resolved. So that's interesting. So with that being said, guys, here's something else. Nomura also answered some fan questions. Out of all these questions, 3 things caught my attention. Nomura apparently thinks it would be cool to see the White Queen in Kingdom Hearts. He's talking about Alice in Wonderland, the live-action film. Now, he didn't outright say Kingdom Hearts 3, but he did mention it would be cool to see it in Kingdom Hearts. But live-action films, do they work in the Kingdom Hearts series? Well, we've had Pirates of the Caribbean and Tron. They weren't that bad, but I always preferred Tron. But Alice in Wonderland, we already had that in KH1. I guess if we go with the multiverses, it's a good excuse. Now the fan asked another question. Is there a chance of more Final Fantasy characters making an appearance, or other Square Enix properties like Nier and Dragon Quest? Of course, we do have precedents. There have been characters that have appeared throughout the series, so I don't think it's impossible, but I'm not actively seeking to incorporate existing characters, only because we have such a large roster of original characters in there already. If there is a perfect fit, I'm sure the idea might come up, but at the same time I have to consider, is it worth allocating the resources to create the character and give it a role within Kingdom Hearts? Would it merit the effort that's put into it? We're not really actively looking for existing characters. There you go, he mentioned it. It's not impossible, but it's not confirmed. Now this brings me to Bravely Default. That was a game published by Square Enix. It's one of their properties, so could it be possible in the future? What do you think of that? Another interesting one. Ryan, are there going to be more secret bosses? Will Sephiroth return? Now this has been asked by the community multiple times. I can't say for certain, I hope. Hint, hint, hint. I can't say for certain. In terms of Sephiroth, do you feel like you want to battle Sephiroth again? Laughs. And then he proceeded by saying, I don't think I can beat him. Ryan had asked Nomura that apparently his mom was able to beat Sephiroth, and yeah, hopefully you understand. Now in terms of the secret boss, we can't say anything at this time. But in terms of Sephiroth specifically, my development team are worried that we've had him come back so many times that they're maybe worried it might be redundant at this point. We're still deliberating on it. Now, we faced Sephiroth twice. A third time, I don't know, I feel like they should take the opportunity and add someone new. That hint I read before, that's not for Sephiroth, that's just for a secret boss. Now, will this secret boss be a Disney character? We had Julius in DDD, now that was a very interesting one actually. Last thing I want to mention before ending the video, according to Nomura, the next report on KH3 will be in 2018. And what's gonna happen in 2018? A Kingdom Hearts fan event has been confirmed for D23 Expo Japan, which takes place on February 10th to 12th at Tokyo Disney Resort. So is this like a Final Fantasy Uncovered type of fan event? I mean, they had shown the release date for Final Fantasy 15, remember that? I don't know if they're planning on doing the same thing for KH3, imagine that. Imagine the fans' reaction. But still, they showed September for Final Fantasy 15, but it got delayed. Let's hope the same thing doesn't happen for this series. If it's not for a release date, then perhaps they're gonna show a brand new world, which if we go with what Nomura said, worlds getting revealed until launch, it's possible. But hey, they might do both. New trailer, new world with the official release date. Imagine that. Anyways guys, this is it for the video. Now, I just want to finish off by saying that for those of you waiting for Sly Cooper or Ratchet & Clank videos, don't worry about it. I know I've been talking about Kingdom Hearts 3 a lot lately, there's a bunch of news we don't get that often, and it's absolutely great. So for those of you getting my notifications with like no Sly Cooper or Ratchet & Clank written in the title, don't worry, I will get back to those. Other than that, I've been Vivi, and share all your thoughts in the comment section below. I'd love to read what you have to say. So yep, thank you, and until next time.